Elio guys, and welcome back. Hopefully everyone's doing well out there today. And in today's video we have not only the schedule maintenance notes that I want to talk to you guys about, but also the new privacy update that's rolling into MSL literally like tomorrow, at least at the time of this video. So if you're not aware of that, if you don't have Facebook, well, we're going to go over that today because I think it's very important. And also if I sound a little bit off, I am sick, so keep that in mind. But this is important information that I feel worthy of discussing with you guys. So before we go into the schedule maintenance notes, let's talk about the whole privacy policy revision here from Smart Study Games. So we have a before and after of what they're doing in regards to personal information that's being collected from MSL and you using the game here. And a big thing with the community so far, at least according to my Discord, is that MSL is now taking, payment data and time, content name, payment unique number, your bank account, PayPal information, fingerprint information, all this other extra stuff which they weren't doing before. And a big discussion that we had on the Discord was a lot of people aren't comfortable with MSL or Smart Study in general taking that information because it's like, why do you guys need that information? And my argument with that was, why does any app need that information? Google uses it, Facebook, aka Meta, uses it, TikTok, there's eBay, even Genshin Impact. A lot of the apps that you guys use take the same exact information that MSL is out here telling us explicitly with this new privacy change. They already do that already. So what's the difference with MSL? And what that boiled down to is my boy Razor, shout out to Razor if you're checking out this video here, is that the main concern isn't that MSL is taking that same information that, here's some proof right here with Meta. I didn't go through completely with Meta because, Meta is more about social media where they can take your information from your phone and not so much payment stuff. But the same thing with TikTok. They'll use your information. You guys can pull up the privacy policy on TikTok and they talk about location data, device information, advertisers, your phone number, basically everything that you have up there. So if you have any of these bigger apps on your, Apple or Android, same thing with Google. They take your IP address, GPS location, all this information. So if you have any of these other apps, it's the same thing. But the biggest issue with MSL, even compared to something like Genshin Impact, which has a lot more players and just a lot broader database of players, is the concern of Smart Studies, maybe security, in terms of taking that information that they're, gathering from users that may be playing the game now with this new update. How secure are their servers in terms of taking that information and protecting it so someone couldn't somehow, attack Smart Studies infrastructure and pull our data such as bank accounts and stuff like that and use it for malicious purposes? Google, TikTok, Meta, all of these other bigger companies, they have a lot more robust security systems, but their data still gets breached regardless. So the real issue that I'm finding with this is not so much that their privacy change is bad, because literally every other app or 99% of the apps that you use out there do the exact same thing here. It's more so that how secure is your information? And I preface that with this, if you're concerned about your data being taken, especially from Smart Study versus the other apps that you use, I think that's perfectly fine if you said, you know what, Elio, it's been a good ride, I'm gonna head out, I just don't want to deal with the headache of this possibly happening with you. That's totally fine. I just wanted to bring that up to you guys as awareness. I don't find this particularly like a problem for me because I already use so many apps on my phone that take everything from me just the same as MSL does. But I mainly play MSL on the emulators, and people will argue and say, well, Elio, don't you spend money on MSL? I don't, but they still have access to my Google account, of course. So if they want to pull some data off of that, they can. They're not going to get any photos because I'm playing on emulator. The only thing up there is my Google account information, but you may not want to go through that hassle of it. So what this really comes down to is that if you're okay with continuing to play the game, just be aware of what apps that you're using and the information that those apps are taking from you, and if it's worth it to you or not. Because if it's not, that's perfectly fine, but I think this is something that's important to bring up here and now because, I don't want people to feel like it's the end of the game when basically the same thing happens regardless of what app that you use. Now, with that being said here, we do have the schedule maintenance notes here for May 29th, 2024, where we do have a bigger or some more information in regards to the Void Dungeon, which I don't think is too much different from what they did for the developers notes like a week ago when I was basically out of country here. But we do see that there's fire, water, wood, light, and dark for the dungeons. Each of the elemental dungeons is composed of 6 stages, and obviously as you go through the chain, you can get to the higher stage, which will hopefully give us more rewards here. And it says you have to have 3 parties, and you have to win all 3 battles against Balzac in order to clear the dungeon out, and that masters will obtain a void crystal. And what information do we have about that void crystal? And it can be cleared up to 3 times. This is standard for like Colossus and the not the dimensional dungeon. Actually, yeah, Colossus and the dimensional dungeon where you get your dimensional stones from. So this is pretty normal. You can obviously refresh that too. And there's also Void Dungeon exclusive skills, which I'm thinking is going to be more of a not niche thing, but more of a mechanic for each specific maybe Void Dungeon to get past those stages and make it clearable or reliable. So I'm not sure how this is going to work on an auto scenario. Maybe there's something that we can hit for that, but I'm curious to see how that's going to work. And more importantly, here we do have that new equipment, which is called the Void Crystal, and they can be divided into 3 different grades, which is low, middle, and high, and also be enhanced up to +5. I'm curious about how these are going to work here, because it says equipping 3 matching Void Crystals provides a very useful buff effect to party members in the Void Dungeon. Outside of the Void Dungeon though, what does this do in terms of, I guess, excelling or propelling your Astromon to the next level? We already have trinkets, we have enhancements, we have ascensions. Hell, even Nat 5s nowadays all have like ultimate evolutions. So what makes this any different than what we have here unless it works outside of the Void Dungeon? So I'm curious to see how that's going to happen or what that's going to do. But it also says Void Crystals can grant a powerful, unique property for each slot. So maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it doesn't. But we will have to see. They're kind of vague with what they're talking about though. And it says, when using void shards, which can be obtained from the Void Dungeon, of course, it can grant up to 2, 3, or 4 types of additional properties depending on the Void Crystal grade. That to me just sounds like, is this more like substats being added to your Astromon, or is it something different? 2, 3, 4 sounds like substats to me. So if this is just another substat increase, it really depends on how spicy this increase is for our level 60 ultimate evolution, trinket out, enhanced, and ascend to Astromon to make this worthwhile or not. But we won't know until obviously the game updates here. There's also the gem sub-property counter filter, which is nice. It will make selling stuff a lot better and a lot proficient and a lot more proficient, which is something that should have been put into the game, I don't know, 5 years ago, but it's better than nothing here. Also, looks like we can have a little bit more function with our whole auto battles or not. I believe the +1 and +10 is a new thing. Everything else here looks the same. Super evolution notification, new theme. And I think the rest of this is just, you know, trinket information and all that good stuff going on here. And I see, what is it? The Void Shard package. You know, if you guys are into spending money, that's perfectly fine. It is your money. However, my consensus is be aware of what you're purchasing. Make sure you're buying something that you're guaranteed to get, and not something that's like Russian roulette where you spend $50 and you can end up with, I don't know, a Dark Tiger when you wanted a Dark Indra. I like knowing that if I'm going to purchase something, this is the product that I'm going to get, and that's it. So for now, I would definitely hold off on anything Void related, just because we don't know how that's going to shake up the game, if it's going to shake up the game at all. And it would be terrible to kind of drop some money into this and be like, wow, you know, this Void stuff is actually trash. So I think that pretty much sums up everything else. I mean, yeah, I just wanted to keep you guys updated and kind of be transparent with what's going on here, because MSL is being transparent with the data that they're taking, which isn't different from any other company here. It's just, if security is a concern for you, especially in terms of this game, I can see an issue with that. It's just, you know, it is what it is. So if you feel like it's time for you to go ahead and head out for the game, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you guys checking out my videos, communicating with me via Discord and stuff of that nature. Maybe it's just not worth the risk for you. But with that being said, keep in mind of what other apps they're using out there, because I guarantee they're doing the exact same thing. And it's really up to the person if they feel safe or secure with their information being on one app with a lot more robust infrastructure and a lot bigger user base versus another app with a smaller infrastructure, probably weaker security, but may or may not be a bigger target for people who want to extract your information for malicious use. But it's just one man's take. For now, though, I'm just going to write it out. I don't really have any personal information that I feel like MSL could take away from me. And, you know, I've been chugging it with this game for a while now. And I'll keep going until, obviously, I just don't feel like playing anymore. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. Feel free to leave in the comments below about what you guys think about this. And with the whole privacy thing too, feel free, if you guys haven't already, to join like the official Monster Super League Discord. You can join my Discord as well. And actually, if this is bothering you a lot, I would also give them feedback via their Facebook. Not saying that they would reverse it, but it would be nice if MSL kind of acknowledged this whole privacy thing and not necessarily promise to us about what they could change or what they could do to make things different here, but at least acknowledge your player base and say, hey, we are aware of your concerns, and that's something that we take to heart here. But that's pretty much it, you guys. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one, and if not, man, it's been good. Hopefully everything goes well for you. If today's your birthday, happy birthday, and that's pretty much it. See ya.